There is a moment when you realize culture isn't a museum piece, but a living creature. And for many young people here in Melbourne, the connection with Italy no longer comes only with village festivals, the songs their grandparents played in the kitchen, or those postcard-style images of Italian identity. The world played a vital role for the generations before us, but today, younger people are looking for something different. And what if I told you that right in the heart of Melbourne, there is a creative, fun, dynamic, and above all, authentic space designed exactly for them? Let's discover it together and enjoy the episode.
Un saluto a tutti e benvenuti a Crossroads. Io mi chiamo Luca Esposito e questo che state ascoltando è un podcast prodotto e ideato dal CO.AS.IT di Melbourne. Un podcast che si propone di diventare uno spazio di incontro per la comunità italiana. Attraverso episodi di circa 30 minuti, disponibili su tutte le principali piattaforme per podcast, apriremo un filo diretto con voi, ascolteremo voci, esperienze e storie che parlino della nostra comunità e anche che raccontino l'impegno quotidiano della nostra organizzazione a sostegno e a supporto di essa.
Hello everyone, I'm Stefano Ioele, and today in the Crossroads studios we are talking about Next Gen, the CO.AS.IT program created for those who want a fresh, contemporary way to experience Italy, their own identity, or simply a cultural curiosity that pushes them toward new experiences. Fresh events, hands-on workshops, sometimes literally, moments to share with others from same generation, a cultural bridge that doesn't look back with nostalgia, but forward with energy. And with us today, we have Carmelina Calabro, coordinator and truly the mind and heart behind this project. With her, we will explore how an idea like this is born, how a young community grows around Italian culture, and what it means to create spaces where identity can evolve, transform and surprise. Ciao Carmelina.
Ciao Stefano.
Come va?
Bene, tu come stai?
I'm very good, thank you. This is a very special episode because we can explore contemporary identity. So how did the idea on the Next Gen program begin?
Well, a couple of years ago, I got involved in the cultural program at CO.AS.IT, which for decades has been doing programs for the community like book launches and talks, lectures, things like that. And when I got involved, I looked around at the audiences and I said to my manager, you know, it's a shame that there's nothing really for people like me, Italian Australians. At the time, I was in my 20s. And I kind of suggested, look, will you let me try something? Will you let me try to do a series of events for this younger generation? And if it works, fantastic, we keep going. If not, it was a great experiment. And that's how Next Gen started, really.
And when did it start? 2024 or before?
So the idea for Next Gen started in 2023, but the program started in 2024.
And it's very nice to see that CO.AS.IT, it's a symbol of our Italian heritage and culture and history overall in Australia, but also keeps an eye looking forward. So it's always open to new ideas and creativity. And I really feel like today Next Gen feels like a laboratory, an ideas laboratory. There are a lot of events for our listeners that they might not know, like yoga. There are classes of yoga, Vinello e Pennello, very interesting experiments that now are like stable events for CO.AS.IT, and there are pasta workshops. So how did this creative and contemporary way of presenting the Italian culture come about?
Well, it was pretty much about looking at what was available in the community, and my experience of cultural events was going, for example, with my parents to Italian clubs for the dinner dances and all that, which is fantastic for their generation and it's exactly what they need. But I didn't find anything that I felt I would want to go to without my parents. So one of the first things that we did for the Next Gen program was the family picnic. It was a way of sort of announcing to the community that we wanted to create these sort of social events where even if we just created a date and a place, it gave people the chance to connect, to hang out together, to socialize, and it was all very communal and friendly and welcoming. And then from that, we just it was a word of mouth, really. We started thinking of new ideas, but some would just happen. Like I had this idea of doing paint and sip in Italian with the concept that maybe it could be a tool for people to be exposed to the language or to maybe learn some new words if they didn't know any Italian. We could have the artist sort of even just going through the colours in Italian. And so we did that with the artist at the time, Angela Viora, who is a performance artist here in Melbourne, but who had a background in sort of art school in Torino. And she did the first one and it went very well. People loved it, with a glass of wine. And we had so much fun trying to think of a name for the program. We spent weeks and weeks trying to think of something.
So the rhyme came up, vinello and pennello.
Yes.
Literally, brush and wine. Like
yes.
Brush and wine or...
wine and brush, yeah.
Wine and brush, it's amazing. So you basically people can paint and have a glass of wine, taste the wine, have a chat in Italian and in English, learn new words. That's very creative as an idea. And how is it going with the Vinello and Pennello events?
It's going well. We do it a couple of times a year. And we've recently found new artists through community call-out. So it's always about using talent that is in the community today, young Italian talent that's here, because we know that there's just so much in the community and we're able to spotlight them and show off their talents. And kind of from there, so we started with the painting and then somebody else mentioned, I have a friend who does clay. And so we did, okay, well, then let's do a clay workshop. And then somebody else mentioned, and my friend does embroidery. She's a great embroidery artist. So we did the embroidery workshop. And it's all just, Next Gen has constantly been about, look at all these fantastic opportunities. Let's just try it. If the community likes it, then fantastic. If they don't, we try something else. And then even from then, one of the artists said, by the way, you said the other day that you wanted to maybe do yoga in Italian. I have a friend who does yoga. And so that kind of grew. And so now we have the Wellness in Italian series. It started as just one yoga class in 2024 with so many people in the class that legs were sort of sticking out of doors and, people couldn't fit. So now we do it monthly and it's grown from just yoga in Italian to now we have mat Pilates in Italian and Zumba in Italian and guided meditation in Italian.
Without wine this time,
Without wine.
Because my question is, when you do the wine and brush, do they come more for the wine or for the brush?
I haven't been able to figure that one out yet. They all enjoy the painting element of it. But let's say the food and the wine definitely helps.
Of course. While with the yoga and wealth-oriented events, you create also a sort of community that is growing very fast because let's remember that Melbourne is a very chaotic sometimes city and people don't really find a moment where they can enjoy a good company, maybe with a relaxed atmosphere, and maybe these yoga classes and all the wealth-oriented events can offer that as well, a moment where you can find new friends.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely happened at our classes. We have this fantastic cross-section of the community that comes to our classes. We have sort of people who don't know a word of Italian, but they live nearby and it's a yoga class that's available to them and they just kind of follow along with the movements and they've ended up learning a couple of words of Italian. And then we have, the Italian-Australian community. We have families that come together, like mothers and daughters that come together quite often. And then we have the Italians who have come over and maybe have just arrived. There was 1 month that a girl had arrived in Melbourne like the week before and she used it as an excuse to meet new people and then they would go out and get coffee together. And that's what I love. I love that these events can create that point of connection for people after the events.
That's amazing. I haven't been that lucky when I moved to Australia first 10 years ago to get to know all these events. So many of our listeners that just came from Italy, they might not know that there are all these many events that are completely out of the box. It's not always the same music and food event. Like I couldn't even realize that there was a yoga class made in Carlton. So if you're interested, you can come across it, but we'll talk about that later, how you can get in touch, because also Carmelina is very open to listen to new ideas as well.
Absolutely, all the time.
Fantastic. So it started a little bit as a gamble, but now is a certainty, right? So there is a strong participation since day one. For example, we haven't talked yet about the family picnic, which was one of the first events. So you want to explain a little bit what a family picnic was and what's becoming?
Yeah, so the first event we ever did for Next Gen was this family picnic, and it's happened for the past 2 years at the end of February in Fitzroy, and it's been sort of an opportunity for people to come into Fitzroy and meet new people. We've had a magician for the kids. One year we had a face painter and Zumbini for kids. Zumbini for kids. Last year we had like a little arts and crafts section with carnevale masks for the kids to colour in. And it was just this nice sort of atmosphere for the family. Now going into the future years, we're kind of looking at that again and thinking, should we continue the family theme? Should it be not necessarily just for families? There was an idea that came out of like a day party for young adults, with a DJ and things like that. So we're kind of looking at making the most of the summer months and seeing what we can do for the community outside. Also because it's always a gamble with outdoor events. So the first year that we did the picnic, it was a beautiful, sunny, warm day, and I think the average number that we thought was there was about 250 people that came throughout the day. This year, unfortunately, it rained. But even with the rain and the puddles, we still had about 50, 60 people, which was still lovely. So we're trying to think of possible ways that we can transform the picnic to also have a wet weather plan B.
Well, it's always that's the real gamble in Melbourne. In this week, for example, it was supposed to be summer, and I'm still wearing my jumper, and it's a little bit of a gamble, but still 50 people showing up under the rain. It means that it's not just an event; it's a place where people can feel safe.
Yep.
It's inclusive because, as you hear, it's not only for Italians. So whoever wants to approach the Italian community or whoever wants to know more about these events, but also if they just want to hang out, you just come and have a picnic or a yoga class or a Zumba now. There is also Zumba. And there are many artists orbitating the Next Gen events. Are you thinking to explore also the artistic direction in your events?
Absolutely. I mean, I can't tell you how many possible events ideas I have in my head, but it's just the carrying out part that's the hardest part. Like I would love to have maybe like an open mic night or some sort of community concept because there's so many amazing artists and musicians in the community. There was talk of maybe having like an Italian karaoke night at one point.
That would be funny.
It would be funny. And I think one of the biggest I don't know if I want to call it a hurdle, but one of the biggest objectives, let's say, of the program is that I'm very aware that there is a massive separation almost between the Italian-Australian community and between the Italians who are now living in Melbourne. And to me at least, it kind of feels like there's often not a lot of connection between the two, and the two never really meet and converge. So that's really what I would like to try and do more of, because oftentimes when I find myself talking to people from both sides, you get sort of the Italian Australians who, are very passionate about the culture that they've grown up with, which is usually the culture of their grandparents. And I understand that my own parents migrated over from Italy. But then there's a stark contrast with the culture that the young Italians coming in now have, and creating a discussion between the two and maybe a convergence. So maybe like the karaoke session with the Italian Australians who might want to go more towards the traditional music and the Italians the contemporary music, and maybe sort of putting both of them out of their comfort zone and getting the conversation started. Like that would be great.
I really feel that's important because as let's say, new Italian, I moved here 10 years ago, which is relatively nothing compared to the Italians that came here 50 years ago or 60 years ago. I see that there is a gap that the culture in Italy and the values in Italy, they moved forward and they changed drastically. So the new Italians that came here don't really cannot really relate to the way the older generations came here and the way the Italians are speaking here, their language. Even the dialects are changing in Italy, and the new Italians that are moving here, they carry completely different values, different taste, also in music, for example. So I really feel like this could be a revolutionary idea, because I don't see many organizations or communities in Australia that try to reconnect the different generations. So, for example, a karaoke will be very funny because they might start singing, I don't know, Luigi Tenco, but also Battisti, maybe Giovanotti, something new. Pupo as well,
You've got to go older, Stefano. You've got to look at your Gianni Morandi,
That's
your
true,
Mina.
Mina also. Anyway, it could be good to mix up the things and see how we can reconnect these two generations that feel sometimes a little bit strained. Because I feel like the Italian Australians that were born here, they relate more to their grandparents' values that the new generations are not really in touch with. So that would be great to have to go in that direction. And as you can hear, Carmelina is very open to ideas as well. So even if you want to just get in touch, or if you want to be involved, participate, for sure you can get in touch. Can you explain us how our listeners can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, so we have the social media for CO.AS.IT, which is CO.AS.IT Melbourne, on both Facebook and Instagram. So people are more than welcome to either send a message through there. I check the Instagram quite often, being the millennial at CO.AS.IT. But if they wanted to get in touch with me directly, I also have an email at carmelinac@co.as.it.com.au. So carmelinac@co.as.it.com.au. And if they have any ideas, they can definitely get in touch with me there.
Fantastic. And also don't forget that these events are not closed to only younger people. Of course, the majority of the people that are taking part of it are under 45 years old, but that doesn't mean that they're not grandparents coming along, because yoga is for everyone. For example, Vinello e Pennello, wine and brush is for everyone, especially wine. But if you want to learn how to paint as well, is there any other event that we didn't cover today that I'm not aware of?
At the moment, that's what we've got on our calendar. But the next, let's say, big event that will close off the year is another picnic, but this time we've called it the Christmas meetup, because it's a lot more casual in nature. I'm sorry, but there won't be a face painter. And it's more kind of it's definitely for families, it's for everyone, but let's say we've kind of made it a little bit more open so that it's not necessarily just for families. So it will be at Hat Reserve in Williamstown on the 14th of December from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we're pretty much just asking people to come along with your picnic baskets and your picnic rugs. We'll bring along some panettone and pandoro for everyone to share the Christmas spirit. But we've also gotten in contact with the Williamstown Italian Social Club, which is just down the road. And they've been very lovely and kind, and they're opening up their club as well for that day, so that we have the plan B in case it rains.
That's a good idea, especially in Melbourne.
Yeah, so they'll be opening up their bar. They'll have some tables and chairs inside with some music playing. So even if you want to get away from, maybe it's too hot, it's too sunny, who knows with Melbourne's weather, that will also be an option on the day.
So can you repeat when is this happening?
So the the meetup will be on the 14th of December, which is a Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Hat Reserve in Williamstown along the Esplanade, and the Williamstown Italian Social Club.
So it's a Sunday, so no excuses. Bring your grandparents, bring your kids, or bring your sons, daughters, anything. So bring them, come along, have some panettone. Will they be able to bring also their own meals? And
of course, yeah. Please bring your picnics. There's public barbecues right next to the park. There's playgrounds next to the park. The beach is 100 metres away. The sand is right there. In case you forget to bring your food, there's also kiosks around in Williamstown if you want a gelato or something like that. And the Williamstown Club will also have their bar open.
So it could be very interesting if you are from a specific region of Italy and you have a specific meal that no one knows. We were talking about this with Carmelina before, that every region in Italy has different meals, but also Italians, Australians, they have their own version of those meals. So it's going to be also a moment of exchange of recipes, and you can learn a lot also in many different ways. But another question that I have, it's very interesting also to know the feedbacks that you get from all the people that participate to your events. So what's the common thing that they share with you?
The feedback that I've received all tends to be positive. I don't think I received any negative feedback up until now, which is good. It means we're doing something well. But a lot of people are just thankful that there is an opportunity to socialise. So I have had some recent Italian migrants come to me and say, thank you for creating these sorts of events and events that are available economically as well, because we try our best to not make them too expensive for the community. So, the yoga or the wellness, it's all about $10 for a class, and it gives people an opportunity to just hang out. I've had people who have been learning Italian and who have said that these events have been great to continue their language. Maybe there's students who used to learn Italian back in high school and they haven't kept up to it, but being immersed in the language has given them an opportunity to maintain the Italian language. And I think that's great, because I don't think that there's one right way to connect with Italian culture. There are people who speak the language, and that's great. There are people who don't speak the language but still want to be connected. And so we're trying to cater to all of those people so that nobody feels left out.
That's amazing. Also, I'm not trying to sell it, but also I'm trying to, because it's amazing that you can have a yoga class or a painting class. At the same time, you're actually practicing your Italian for free. Because the class, you may pay only $10 for a class, but studying Italian is a thing, and talking with Italians is another thing. And that's fantastic. And I really see that there is a bright future for this program that is growing. How would you see Next Gen program moving forward in the next years?
So these first 2 years have really been about creating a foundation and really being able to show to people that the community likes this and the community wants this. And the next couple of years, I would really, really love to see more collaborations with the communities, because Next Gen, is going well in the programs. People love them, but there's so many people in the community that are doing such an amazing work with their own programs. And I would love to help bring those out and help more people find out about them, and vice versa for other people to find out about us through other programs. So 2026, I definitely would like to do more collaborations with people in the community, and potentially also look at the possibility of creating a youth club for the Italian community.
Fantastic. Youth Club is going to be for sure a new hit of CO.AS.IT. And who knows, maybe we can create also a music event when all the musicians, pro, beginners, intermediate can participate and create a live on stage karaoke. We don't know. We will see. It's an open laboratory, and Carmelina for sure is going to deliver incredible events. So again, you can get in touch with Carmelina. She already explained how, but we will have all the links in description. Mi raccomando, if you want to participate, it's the time to get into a new idea of the Italian culture and community. Thank you, Carmelina. Do you have any comment? Do you want to invite someone? Do you have any idea that you want to share with us? Any new thing?
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Our pleasure.
It's amazing, and I think the fact that this podcast can continue is a really great thing, and I would love to hear more from people in the community, hear their stories, and maybe hear how they're getting involved with CO.AS.IT programs. That would be great.
Fantastic. And unfortunately, lately we don't have our Luca Esposito, which for a good reason, he just had a baby. So Congratulations to Luca and his partner, second baby for him. I don't know if he wants this on the episode, maybe not, we will see. But we send a warm hug to Luca and his family, and we will see you for our next episode next week. And thank you, Carmelina, for being here. It was really a pleasure for us.
Thank you, Stefano.
E ciao a tutti ai nostri ascoltatori, a risentirci.